The Green Bay Packers' final injury report ahead of their Week 14 matchup versus the Chicago Bears just came out minutes ago, including 5 players on this injury report that are ruled out of this game, as well as 5 players that are questionable for this game. And also for the Chicago Bears, 3 players are ruled out. So in this video, we're going to break down, dive into the final injury report, see who's available, not available, or may be available for the Green Bay Packers in this huge NFC North rival division matchup here in Week 14 that very well could decide the outcome of the NFC North. If this sort of thing does interest you and you want more Packers news, analysis, updates, or simply just want a YouTube channel where you can get all your Packers news, some analysis mixed in, game live streams, PFF grade reviews, and everything in between, this is the spot to do so. So if that all sounds good to you, go down, click the subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me and it would help out the channel a ton. All right, so let's just dive right down into this thing and let's bring the injury report up on the screen. And per usual, it's a very long report, as we saw on Wednesday. Tons of players on this injury report. Obviously, 10 players have designations, and I believe 8 without designation. So first, let's go over the players that are out and get them out of the way. Marshawn Lloyd is ruled out of this game. He was limited all week and designated to return from IR, but obviously they're taking this a little bit slow with how many injuries he's had in his career and really hasn't gotten on the field much at all. You know, I'm fine with them taking it slow. They have Josh Jacobs. They have Emmanuel Wilson. Easing Marshawn Lloyd in is probably the best bet. We also see Colin Oliver, who we haven't seen at all for the Green Bay Packers. This is really, I think, his first week actually practicing. I believe he was out all of OTAs, rookie minicamp, training camp, started the year on IR. Now he's designated to return, and just like Marshawn Lloyd was limited all week, but he is ruled out of this game. I doubt he'd even be active anyways, and if he was, it would just be pure special teams, so it makes sense them ruling him out of this game. Lucas Van Ness, foot injury, didn't participate all week. It took about a month for him to potentially return. Then he tried to against the Vikings, played in just 6 snaps, and then it seemed like that foot was not ready to go. And whether it's a re-injury or simply they just brought him back too soon, at the end of the day, Lucas Van Ness is not available right now, and hopefully he can heal up fully and become available towards the back end of the season. It would be nice to have him on this defensive line now without Devontae Wyatt, maybe kick him inside to that 3-tech spot that we're kind of lacking depth right now, but until that point, hopefully he can get to 100%. Then the final 2 players on the bottom, one is Devontae Wyatt, who will be placed on IR here shortly. He's only on the injury report because they have yet to place him on IR. Now, that doesn't mean anything. That's not like, oh, he has a chance of coming back this year. He's out. It's just they haven't done the transaction yet, so he has to remain on the injury report. And then also Savion Williams, who has this lingering foot issue, has played through the injury a couple weeks back, but then has been out, or was out last week, and he remains out for this game against Chicago. But there are also 2 receivers that are questionable for this game that might be returning that we've been without for the last couple of weeks, or more so the whole season in regards to Jaden Reed, at least since week 2. So that moves me into the questionable players. First, we have Javon Bullard, who is limited on Wednesday, didn't practice Thursday or Friday with an ankle injury, and is still questionable. This one surprises me. I thought he would be doubtful or out, which is a big blow to this defense. Javon Bullard has been huge for the nickel position of this defense. He's having a great year, too. In my opinion, has taken a huge jump here in his sophomore year. The fact that he's still questionable tells that the Packers are going to give him up to game time to be able to potentially go in this game. Now, if he doesn't, I kind of wonder what they're going to do at the nickel position. Maybe they'll run more base anyways, because Chicago loves to run the football. That's how they want to establish the game. So they probably want 3 linebackers out there anyway. So I guess, obviously I want Javon Bullard on the defense, but I guess it wouldn't be the worst game to not have your starting nickel defender, if you had to choose one, would be against a more running team, or a more run-heavy team. So we'll see what they end up doing if Bullard isn't available, but he is questionable. Brenton Cox Jr., who's potentially returning from IR, he would need to be activated, but that can happen tomorrow. Same with Jaden Reed. He is questionable. Matthew Golden and Nate Hobbs are both questionable. They were limited all week. Matthew Golden has been dealing with both a wrist and shoulder injury the past, month or so. So hopefully he can return in this game. Nate Hobbs obviously dealing with that knee injury since training camp that he got surgery on. Kind of returned too soon, it seemed. Wasn't playing well at all. And if Javon Bullard is out, it would be nice to get Nate Hobbs back because, honestly, he's a nickel defender. And we've been playing him on the outside, and he hasn't been doing a good job. But honestly, if his chance to come in from injury when someone like Javon Bullard's out, he may actually be able to show his worth. And that might be the route the Packers go. Javon Bullard can't, and Nate Hobbs can. I would assume they're hoping that at least one of them can go in this game. And then the final questionable is Jayden Reed, who is limited all week, foot/shoulder injury. I think that he gets activated tomorrow. The Packers have roster spots. They don't have to cut anyone to do so. And I think he plays in this game. Now, how much? We'll see. But I do believe that Jayden Reed does make his return here in week 14, along with Matthew Golden. And the Packers get some backup in that wide receiver room. All right, so now I want to take a look at the Chicago Bears injury report quickly. Let's go over my sleeper picks for this weekend's matchup, Packers versus Bears. Go check out Sleeper, link down in the description. Make sure to use code BASS when making a first-time deposit and take advantage of the promo going on where you get a 100% deposit match up to $100 with code BASS, B-A-S. So first, I have a Patrick Mahomes free pick, more than a half a passing yard, a lock there. Then my 3 picks from this game. I have Josh Jacobs, anytime touchdown. I mean, I feel like every time he's playing, he has a very high chance of getting a touchdown. I have Jordan Love more than 212.5 passing yards. I think the Packers are going to be able to air it out against the Chicago defense. I also think they're going to be able to run. But Jordan Love, I mean, he's been almost unstoppable this past month. So more than 212.5 yards, I think that's a pretty low line to begin with. Then I have DeAndre Swift, more than 11.5 rushing attempts. We know the Bears want to run the football. We know they have Monangai and Swift, and I think both could get 12-plus carries. Hopefully the Packers are going to be able to contain that running attack, but I do think the Bears definitely give Swift at least 12 handoffs. So those are my picks for the upcoming game. Let me know yours down in the comments, and definitely a reminder to go check out Sleeper. All right, so now to take a look at the Bears injury report. This is going to go by much quicker. They only have 3 players with designations here on their injury report, and a big one that is out of this game. And we'll just go and dive right into it and talk about him first. And it's Rome Odunze at wide receiver, foot injury, didn't practice all week. He is ruled out of this game. Now, the Chicago wide receivers don't worry me, even if they had Rome Odunze. They don't pass the ball much, and when they do, they're not that efficient nor consistent. Now they'll just be without one of their good targets in Rome Odunze. Obviously, DJ Moore is the first receiver there, but Odunze, at this rate, you might even call him the first receiver in that offense. Now, someone like Luther Burden will have to step up into that role, a rookie that is definitely tied along with Matthew Golden in terms of the outlook of their career. At least Bears fans and Packers fans are looking at both these guys. So Luther Burden's going to get his chance. Hey, maybe Matthew Golden will as well, but Luther Burden's going to get a lot of snaps on offense with Rome Odunze out. The other 2 players out of this game, a depth linebacker, Ruben Hippolyte, didn't practice Wednesday, Thursday, was limited Friday. He's out of this game. And defensive back, Tyreek Stevenson, hip, didn't practice all week. He is also out of this game. So that's the final injury report here in Week 14, Packers versus Bears. So excited for this matchup. It's crazy that they haven't played each other all the way here until Week 14, but it seems like the schedule makers knew what they were doing because both teams at the top of the NFC North, both teams with a chance to be at the top of the NFC if things go their way and they win out. So although I was kind of annoyed that we didn't play the Bears all the way until Week 14, it does make for some good dramatic football here to round out this season, playing them in Week 14 and also Week 16. And at that point, we'll probably have a very good idea of who's going to come out on top in the NFC North. But I really appreciate you guys coming by to the channel. If you could leave a like on your way out, it helps support the channel a ton. It's quick, it's free to do. So I'd really appreciate it if you did that. But I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. And as always, go Pack Go.